No credits, no hope. The transport ship hissed as it landed on the dusty surface of Veltrian 5, a small alien colony planet far from Earth. The door slid open, and Jace, a young human man in torn clothes and worn-out boots, stepped out. He held a small bag, his only possession left after fleeing a failed mission. He had no job, no credits, and nowhere to go. Jace walked into the nearby market. Strange alien smells floated in the air. Many species, tall, short, hairy, slimy, moved around selling goods, shouting in different languages. Jace's stomach growled. He hadn't eaten in 2 days. He approached a stall selling food. "I don't have credits," he said softly, "but I can work." The alien vendor, a thick-skinned creature with 4 eyes, looked at him with disgust. "No credits, no food. Move along, human." Jace nodded and walked away. Every stall gave him the same response. Some ignored him, some laughed, some even called him dirtless stray, a rude term for homeless outsiders. By evening, the orange sun was setting. Cold winds started blowing in the streets. Jace sat near an old wall, hugging his knees. "What am I even doing here?" he whispered to himself. He thought about Earth. But going back meant shame. Staying here meant hunger. He closed his eyes and let the wind bite his skin. "Excuse me?" a soft, strange voice said. Jace looked up. A tall alien woman stood in front of him. Her skin was light purple and smooth, her eyes bright teal like shining gems. She wore a long robe, and her long silver hair moved with the breeze. She looked elegant and dangerous. "I saw you walking around all day," she said. "No credits?" He stood up slowly, embarrassed. "Yeah, just landed today. I'm trying to find work." The woman tilted her head. "You're not from here." "No," Jace said. "Just, trying to start over." She didn't laugh. She didn't insult him. She just looked into his eyes, calm and quiet. "I'm Phaedra," she finally said. "I have a room available in my house. It's clean, warm, and private, free." Jace blinked. "Free?" She nodded. "But only if you help with cleaning and some small tasks. Do we have a deal?" He hesitated. This was too strange. No one had offered him anything kind today. Why was she helping him? Still, he had no choice. "Yes," he said. "Thank you. I'm Jace." Phaedra's home stood at the edge of the colony. It was an older building made of dark stone and crystal glass. As they entered, Jace noticed how quiet it was inside. No sounds of machines. No other voices. The place was warm and smelled of something, sweet, like flowers, but not any he recognized. "This way," she said. She led him to a guest room. It had a soft bed, clean sheets, and a window facing the moonlit sky. "You can stay here," Phaedra said. "There's food in the kitchen. Rest for now. We'll talk more tomorrow." Jay stood in silence for a second. "Why are you doing this?" he asked finally. Phaedra looked at him. "Because everyone needs help once in their life, even humans." Then she left. That night, Jace lay on the soft bed, staring at the ceiling. His heart felt tight, but also warm. It had been weeks since anyone showed him kindness, but something about Phaedra felt strange. She was kind, yes, but she watched him too closely. Her eyes always studied his face, his body, his every word. There was something behind her gaze, something she wasn't saying. As he drifted to sleep, he whispered, "I hope I didn't just step into something worse." The next morning, he woke to the smell of cooked food. He walked into the kitchen, and there she was, cooking something in a glowing blue pan. She wore a simple robe today, but her silver hair still shimmered like moonlight. "Hungry?" she asked. He nodded. "Starving?" As though he ate. She sat across from him. "Today I want you to clean the back garden. It's small, but the plants are sensitive. Be gentle." Jace smiled. "I'll do my best." She smiled too, but her eyes didn't leave him. Outside, while trimming alien vines in the garden, Jace noticed something strange. A law poster on the colony wall read, Single males may not reside in homes owned by unbonded females. All cohabitation must be officially declared. He stopped, confused. Wait. Was he even allowed to stay in her house? He looked back toward the window. Vetra stood inside, watching him silently. Something about her calm smile now gave him chills. The landlady's eyes watch everything. The morning air on Veltrian 5 was cool and dry. The alien birds sang strange notes and purple leaves danced in the wind. Jay stood in Vetra's back garden, holding a curved tool made for trimming soft-root vines. The garden glowed faintly under the sky, filled with plants that shimmered when touched by light. But he didn't notice the beauty. He kept looking at the wall poster he had seen earlier, the one with the law about unbonded females and single males. It's illegal, he whispered to himself. I'm not supposed to live with her. Why had Vetra offered him a room? What risk was she taking? Or did she have a secret plan? He turned toward the house. Through the clear window, he saw her again. Vetra was watching him. Not angrily, not kindly either, just silently. Her teal eyes locked onto him like she was reading his thoughts. A chill ran through his arms. Later that day, while sweeping the front steps, a group of colony guards passed by. They wore metal armor with blinking blue lights. One of them slowed down, staring at Jace. You live here? The alien guard asked with a frown. Yes, Jace said carefully. I help with cleaning. She let you stay? Alone? The guard raised an eyebrow. Strange. Before Jace could answer, the front door opened. Vetra stepped out gracefully. Is there a problem? The guard quickly lowered his voice. No, just checking. Vetra smiled politely. Then move along. They obeyed. But as they walked away, Jace heard one whisper. She still refuses to bond after all this time. Jace's heart beat faster. That evening, Vetra cooked again. The kitchen was warm, filled with strange but pleasant smells. Thank you for helping today, she said. You didn't have to speak to the guards, Jace said carefully. I don't want you in trouble. She turned slowly, her expression unreadable. You don't understand how things work here, do you? He stayed quiet. In this colony, she said, a female can only live with a male if he is her bonded partner. Not a friend, not a worker, a husband. Jace's eyes widened. Then, what does that mean for us? Vetra stepped closer, her voice softened. It means either I declare you as my bonded mate, or I get punished. Jace's throat went dry. So, was this your plan all along? Vetra gave a small smile. Would you rather sleep outside again in the cold? Jace looked down at his hands. No. Then trust me, she said. It's just a title for the law, nothing more. But her eyes said something else. That night, Jace couldn't sleep. He walked quietly to the living room, trying to clear his thoughts. The stars outside blinked through the glass walls. He heard a sound behind him. Vetra stood near the hallway, wrapped in a thin robe. Her silver hair was loose. She didn't speak. They stood there, staring at each other in silence. I don't want to cause trouble, Jace finally said. You didn't, she replied. You gave me a way out. A way out of what? Vetra stepped closer. Of being alone, of being hunted by rules and suitors I don't want. Jace's heart skipped. She raised her hand, then stopped. Good night, Jace. Then she turned and disappeared down the hallway. The next morning, the colony's bonding registry drone arrived. It floated at the door, a blinking sphere with mechanical wings. Verification requested, it buzzed. Jace froze. State your legal bond, the drone said. Before he could answer, Vetra appeared beside him. Calm, composed. He is my mate, she said clearly. Registered under Home Protection Code 79. The drone scanned both their faces. Confirmed. Status, bonded pair. As it flew away, Jace whispered, So, that's it. I'm your husband now? Vetra looked, at him and said only one word. Yes, she has no husband and, by law. For the first time since arriving on Veltrian 5, Jace woke up in a bed that didn't smell like dust and sweat. But the comfort didn't last. His mind kept spinning. She told the drone, I'm her mate, but we barely know each other. He got dressed and stepped into the kitchen. Vetra was already there, preparing something warm and blue that steamed gently in the pan. She didn't greet him like yesterday. Instead, she said without turning, the drone has already uploaded our bond into the colony system. Jace sat down slowly. So, it's official now? She nodded. Yes? He looked at her, trying to read her expression. And that doesn't bother you? Vetra finally looked at him. You think I'd rather be taken by force than choose a man myself? Jace was silent. She continued, her voice colder now. Many males here have tried to claim me. They want my land, my home, they don't care about me, the law would let them unless I'm already claimed. He leaned back in the chair, and I'm just the shield. You're the only one who didn't ask for anything, she replied, looking right into his eyes. That's why I chose you. A knock echoed from the front door. 3 alien males stood outside, tall, muscular, and wearing silver armor. One of them stepped forward. His face was hard, sharp, and too perfect, like someone who always got what he wanted. General Raxon, Vetra whispered under her breath. Jace saw her hands tense. The tall alien spoke in a smooth voice. Vetra, I heard you've bonded. I have, she said calmly. By law, you have no claim here. He glanced at Jace. This human? This soft, dirt-covered outsider? Raxon stepped closer. I gave you 3 years to bond. You refused every noble, every warrior. Now you run to a broken man with no name, no blood, and no spine? Jace stood up, fists clenched. She didn't run. She made a choice. You should respect it. Raxon's smirk turned into a growl. You speak like a mate. Would you defend her? Like one too? Jace didn't back down. If I have to. Raxon laughed and raised one glowing hand. Then by old customs I challenge you, outsider, to right of strength, one-on-one combat, for her claim. Jace felt his blood freeze. What? Vetra stepped in front of him. That law is outdated, but still valid, Raxon interrupted. Unless you admit this was a false bond. Jace whispered, What do I do? Vetra's voice trembled slightly. If you walk away, they'll strip our bond and take me. If you accept and lose, you die. Jace looked into her eyes, then back at Raxine. I accept. That night, the entire colony gathered in the arena. The ground was made of red stone, old and cracked from many battles. Rings of glowing energy circled the area, sealing the fighters inside. Vetra stood in the crowd, eyes locked on Jace. She looked calm, but her fingers were shaking. He wore simple armor, borrowed. Raxon wore plated steel powered by energy cells. His blade glowed blue. This isn't about winning, Jace whispered to himself. It's about not giving up. A bell rang. The match began. Raxon charged first, fast like lightning. Jace dodged, barely missing a strike that would have taken off his head. He rolled, grabbed a fallen spear, and swung, but Raxon blocked it like a toy. You're weak, human, Raxon shouted. She deserves better. Jace's arms trembled from the force of each block. But he kept moving, dodging, thinking. He had no strength, but he had speed and heart. He baited Raxon into swinging too wide, and then struck the alien's knee with the spear's base. Raxon fell to one side. The crowd gasped. Jace stood over him, panting, sweat pouring down his face. Do you yield? He shouted. Raxon growled. Never. But before he could rise, the arena lights turned red. The elder judge announced, Winner, the human. Claim stands. Vetra ran to him. She didn't care about the stares. She didn't care about the rules. You fought for me, she whispered. Why? Jace, still bleeding and shaking, gave a tired smile. Because I'm your husband now. right? Fake marriage, real emotions? The fight was over. Jace had won, but he didn't feel like a hero. His shoulder was bruised, his lip was cut, and his legs shook with every step. Yet, as Vetra wrapped her arms around him before the crowd, something changed. She wasn't acting anymore, and neither was he. Back at the house, Jace lay on the couch while Vetra cleaned his wounds. She was silent at first, but her hands were gentle, her touch slow and careful. "You shouldn't have fought him," she said quietly. "I had to," Jace replied. "I couldn't let him take you." Vetra paused. "We agreed it was just a legal bond, a fake marriage." He looked into her bright teal eyes. "Then why do I feel like it's not fake anymore?" She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned in and pressed her forehead to his, an old Veltrian gesture of comfort and closeness. Her breath warmed his skin. For a moment, the silence was louder than any words. The next day, the colony was buzzing. A human defeating General Raxon was unthinkable. Many aliens watched Jace as he passed, some with respect, others with suspicion. He tried to stay busy. He fixed the door hinges, cleaned the solar panels, and helped an old alien neighbor repair a water pipe. But Vetra's face kept flashing in his mind. That soft look, that quiet moment, that closeness that didn't feel fake. One night, rain fell, hard outside. Jace was preparing to sleep when he heard a soft knock on his door. Vetra stood there holding a glowing blue drink in her hands. "Sleep hard after battles," she said. "This will help." He took the cup and smiled. "You always. Bring something when I'm down." She stepped inside, looking nervous. "I don't do this for everyone." He laughed lightly. "I kind of figured." There was an awkward pause. Then she asked, "Do you miss Earth?" Jace nodded. "Sometimes, but I don't miss being useless. I don't miss sleeping in trash ships. Here, I feel like I matter." "You do," she said softly. They stood there, eyes locked again. Vetra looked away. "When I bonded with you to protect myself, I didn't plan for this." "For what?" he asked. "For it to feel real." The next day, a messenger drone arrived with a new warning. "Lady Vetra, your bond is being questioned by High Council," it beeped. "You are summoned for review. They believe the marriage may be false." Vetra's fists clenched. "They're trying to take you away," Jace said. She nodded. "If they prove it's fake, I'll be forced to marry Raxon or another suitor." Jace stepped forward. "Then let's make it real." Vetra stared at him. "What?" "I mean it," Jace said. "If a real marriage protects you, and then I want that." Vetra blinked, stunned. "But you're human. You don't know what you're agreeing to." "I know one thing," he said. "You saved me when I had nothing. Now I'll protect you with everything I have." Vetra slowly reached out, taking his hand. Her fingers were cool and trembling. "I never expected to feel this way. About a human," she whispered. He smiled. "And I never thought I'd fall for my landlady." That night they sat together near the garden, watching the purple moons rise. Jace leaned back against the wall, Vetra beside him, closer than ever before. "I used to hate the silence in this house," she said. "Now, it feels like peace." Jace looked up at the stars. "I used to be afraid of dying alone. Now, I feel like I found a place." She turned to him. He turned to her, and neither of them moved away. Blood and truth. The hearing hall of Veltrian 5 was cold and filled with tension. Jace stood beside Vetra, surrounded by alien elders, judges, and curious spectators. His wounds from the arena had barely healed, but this battle would not be fought with weapons. This one would be fought with words and truth. A High Council judge, tall with green scales and glowing red eyes, looked down from the floating seat. "Lady." "Vetra," the judge said sternly. "You claim this human is your bonded husband, yet you did not file the proper rituals. There was no ceremony, no witness, no declaration of union in front of your clan." Whispers moved through the crowd like wind. Vetra raised her chin. The law does not require a ceremony. Only truth. Another, judge, an elder female with golden horns, leaned forward. And how do we know this is not just a trick? A shield to protect yourself from noble suitors like General Raxon? Jace stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. I didn't even know the rules when I moved in. I had no plan, no money, nothing. She helped me when no one else would, and I stayed because I care about her, not because of the law. Gasps echoed around the chamber. Suddenly the doors slammed open. General Raxon entered wearing his war armor, limping slightly from the wounds Jace gave him. I demand my voice be heard, he roared. The judges allowed it. This human tricked her, Raxon growled. He used her loneliness to take shelter in her house. He faked the bond. He insulted our customs and cheated the right. He turned to Jace. If you love her, prove it. Take the ancient oath of unity. Bleed with her before the council. Jace looked at Vetra. What is that? Her voice trembled. It's real. It's ancient. You both must cut your palms and join hands. If your emotions are true, the bond will glow. If you're lying, the pain will break you. Jace didn't hesitate. He pulled out the ceremonial blade and held out his hand. Then let's do it. Vetra's eyes widened, but she nodded, silently. They stood in the center of the chamber. Both sliced their palms. Blood dripped red and violet. They held hands. At first, nothing happened. Then, a golden light slowly wrapped around their fingers, growing brighter, warmer. The crowd gasped. The judges leaned forward. Even Raxon took a step back. But then, suddenly, the light sparked wild and hot. A flash of sharp energy burst from their joined hands, knocking them both backward. Jace hit the ground. His head spun. His chest felt heavy. The air burned around him. Jace! Vetra crawled to his side, her face filled with fear. Are you okay? He coughed. It hurts, but I'm not letting go. Their hands still touched, and slowly the light returned. Gentle this time. The pain faded. The bond was real. One of the judges stood. The test is passed. The bond is genuine. This hearing is over. Raxon turned in rage, but the guards moved between him and the couple. You lost, Raxon, the judge said. Let them be. Raxon snarled. This isn't over, human. I will see your blood spilled before the year ends. Jace stood, shaking but strong. Then you better bring more than words next time. Later that evening, back at the house, Jace sat at the table, his hand bandaged. Vetra placed a warm cup in front of him. I didn't think you'd do it, she said. I didn't think you'd cry, he replied with a smile. I thought you were going to die. I was ready. If it meant protecting you. She sat beside him and held his hand again. This time, not for law, not for proof, just for love. You bled for me, she whispered. He looked into her eyes. I'd do it again. Secrets of her past. The night was silent, but Jace could feel something wasn't right. He lay in bed, his hand still sore from the blood oath. But it wasn't the pain keeping him awake. It was Vetra. She had barely spoken after the hearing. Her smile had faded. Her eyes, once full of light, now looked far away like they were staring into a painful memory. The bond was real, but something inside her was still hidden. At midnight, he quietly stepped into the garden and found her sitting by the glowing flowers, staring up at the moons. You're awake, she said without turning. So are you, he replied softly. She finally looked at him. You want to know what I'm hiding? She said. Jace sat beside her. Only if you want to tell me. Vetra took a deep breath. There's a reason I never bonded with anyone. A reason I've lived alone all these years. She touched the scar on her wrist. Faint, almost invisible. I was bonded once before. Jace's eyes widened. He wasn't like you, she continued. He was a noble, strong, respected, but behind closed doors he was cruel. Her voice cracked. He didn't want a partner, he wanted property. Jace said nothing, he only reached for her hand. I escaped, she said. But on this planet, bonds are sacred. Breaking one, even if it's abusive, is rare. I became marked. Rumors spread. No one wanted a tainted female. No one except powerful suitors who only wanted control. And Raxine was one of them, Jace whispered. Vitra nodded. He believed I had no choice. That one day I'd give up and return to chains. Jace clenched his jaw. He was wrong. She smiled weakly. I thought I had to live alone forever. But then you came, with nothing. And yet, you gave me more than anyone ever did. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the side wall. Vitra stood up quickly. Get back inside, she said sharply. Before Jace could move, the sound of glass, shattering, filled the night air. 3 masked aliens in dark armor dropped into the garden. Their weapons buzzed with red energy. She's worth a fortune, one growled. And now she's weakened by love. Take the human first, another said. She'll obey if he screams. Jace grabbed a garden blade. Vitra stepped in front of him. No, she said. You will not touch him. Her voice changed. Colder. Stronger. Then, before anyone could blink, she moved. Jace watched in shock. Vitra struck with speed and precision, moving like water and lightning. Her fingers glowed with strange energy. She ducked, twisted, flipped, breaking one attacker's arm, slamming another into the stone wall. The last one ran. She didn't chase him. She stood there, breathing hard, eyes glowing faintly under the moonlight. Jace stared. You're not just a landlady. She turned to him. I was a royal guard. Before everything. Before him. Before the exile. He stepped closer, stunned. So you were protecting others before you even protected yourself. She smiled sadly. And for once, someone protected me. They stood in the broken garden, breathing in the silence. Though, next morning guards arrived. The attackers had been mercenaries paid by someone high in the council. Raxine, Jace said bitterly. He's desperate now, Vatra replied. He's losing control. Jace looked at the wrecked garden. He's trying to scare us. She looked at him with fire in her eyes. Then we'll show him what fear really looks like. That evening, Vatra stood before the council chamber again, but not as a victim. This time she came in wearing her old guard armor, polished and glowing, her crest of rank pinned to her chest. Jace walked beside her, standing tall. The same judge, from before, gasped. Lady Vatra, you are of royal defense rank. I always was, she said, but I let others forget. No more hiding, no more silence. She pointed at the council. Remove Raxine from power, or I'll release the truth of his threats and crimes across the galaxy. No money, no husband. Until now. The council chamber was silent. All eyes were on Vatra, now wearing her full armor. From her forgotten past. A royal defender once hidden, now reborn. Standing beside her was Jace, the outsider who came with nothing but stood like a warrior. Across from them, General Raxine watched with clenched fists. His plan to break Vatra had failed. His mercenaries were caught. His lies were exposed. But he still held power. One of the council judges spoke. Lady Vatra, your record confirms royal rank. Why did you never declare it? Because I was afraid, she said honestly. Afraid they would never believe me. That the scars I carried made me unworthy. But not anymore. She turned toward Jace. Because someone reminded me that worth is not measured by what you've lost, but by what you choose to protect. The chamber murmured in agreement. Then Jace stepped forward. I'm not from here. I had no credits, no title, no family, but I know right from wrong. I know what it means to care for someone and to fight for them. He looked at the council. You ask why I stayed? It's because this woman gave me something I never had before, a reason to believe I could matter. One of the elder judges leaned forward. And what do you want now, human? Jace took a deep breath. I don't want to pretend anymore. I don't want to be her fake husband. I want to be her real one, if she'll have me. Gasps filled the chamber. Vetra's hand went to her chest. Her eyes, wide with surprise, began to shine with tears. I thought I'd never trust again, she whispered. Then let me prove I'm worth trusting, Jace said. Every day, for the rest of my life. By council law, a true marriage was now required to seal their bond completely. A ceremony was arranged that same evening. The alien courtyard was filled with glowing lanterns, strange music, and a crowd larger than Jace had ever seen. Word had spread. The human with no money was marrying the warrior no one could claim. Vetra wore a traditional royal robe, deep violet and marked with silver threads of her lineage. Her silver hair was tied in long braids, each one holding a crystal, of memory from her clan. Jace wore simple robes, but Vetra placed her crest of honor on his chest. It was the highest gift from her people, a mark never given to outsiders. You honor me, he said. You saved me, she replied. They stood before the sacred flame. You were once broken, she said softly, and so was I. But now, together, we are whole. Jay smiled. And I'll never let you feel alone again. Their hands joined. The flame turned golden. Their names were spoken. Their bond became legend. Weeks passed. Raxon was removed from the council, disgraced and exiled. Jace and Vetra turned their home into a refuge for those in need, runaways, wounded soldiers, or travelers with no place to go. Together they gave shelter, food, and kindness. The colony called them the Bonded Flame, a name given to couples who overcame death and fear to create something pure. One evening, as the stars shimmered over the garden, Vetra rested her head on Jace's shoulder. Do you ever miss Earth? She asked. Sometimes, he replied. But Earth never gave me a reason to stay. You did. She looked at him, her smile calm and sure. And to think, you had no credits. He laughed. And you had no husband. She kissed his cheek. Now we have everything.